Good morning. I'm KHOU Meteorologist Chris Ramirez, and we are tracking showers and storms south of Houston. Right now, Houston, fortunately, isn't getting much of that heavy rain that's occurring in and around our coastal areas. It's 84 degrees out there as we see the sun rising, and we're seeing the sun peeking through the clouds. It's going to be warming up into the 90s for this afternoon. South winds at 9 miles an hour. Radar is pretty active, especially to the west and south of Houston. There is some special weather statements that have been issued from the National Weather Service. There's also a flood warning that has just been issued for Brazoria and Wild Peach. That's the cities that are along. There's a big river that goes through there. I believe that's the Bowling River. We are seeing lots of lightning in and around the El Campo area as far as that special weather statement that we're looking at. So any storm that does include some pretty quarter-size hail as well as winds up to 40 to 50 miles an hour south of town. So just keep that in mind that we're also tracking a flood advisory that is in place for portions of Galveston County, which is going to be in effect until 12:45. That does include Bay Harbor. It's looking likely that they've just lifted that flood advisory that was in place for Galveston County, which is very good news. We're seeing a much needed break from the rain out in Galveston and along I-45. However, there is a few lingering showers happening along 45 heading to Galveston. I think it's not really going to be a good day to go to the beach because we're going to continue to see these showers and storms through the evening and afternoon hours. Much of the heavier rain right now occurring in and around, I believe that's Hawkinsville, just to the south of Sweeney. This is Brazoria County, and so just keep in mind that we could see more of these downpours move towards the southwest going into the next few hours. So we're not going to be done with the rain just yet for Houston and areas west of town. We could still see some downpours here and there for Houston. The good news, though, is that Houston has not received as much rain as they have on the outskirts of town, so we're not looking at any flooding concerns for the city of Houston as well as Harris County, but it's areas to the east of Houston. So in around the Baytown area, Liberty, along I-10, along Highway 90, they've received quite a bit of rain. So it's not going to take much to cause any isolated flooding concerns as we progress through the afternoon. And so as we look at our future track, it's looking likely that most of that rain and those storms are going to remain to the west and southwest of Houston for today, even though we cannot rule out the possibility of a downpour moving through the city going into the afternoon hours. So that's what we're looking at in terms of the future track. Overnight temperatures cooling into the 70s. We're going to have a break overnight, but for Father's Day afternoon, we're going to have another round of possible showers and storms to flare up as we go to at least the afternoon hours. So if you have any plans with Dad, you might want to get those done early in the day, maybe go out to breakfast or maybe an early lunch or maybe brunch for tomorrow, because we are expecting those scattered showers and storms to once again flare up during the afternoon hours. We have this unstable air over us as we progress through the weekend and into the week. So rain chances just really not going away. This is showing you the storm energy that's currently in place right now. We had a little bit of an outflow boundary that did move through Houston that's actually giving us a little bit less storm energy, so it's looking more likely that the storm activity avoiding Houston, there's not much fuel there over the city of Houston, all thanks to those storms that were in place over Galveston. But areas off towards the west and south west of the city, we could still see some strong storms flare up in this region. That includes Wharton, maybe Richmond, Rosenberg. You might see some of those storms flare up as we could see that energy remain in place. We call it CAPE in the meteorology world. So expecting that to continue in place and remain unstable through the next few days. We could see an excess between 2 and 3 inches of rain in some locations as we progress through Sunday evening. So like I said, it's not going to take much to cause those isolated flooding concerns for today. The good news is that we're getting these breaks of rain coverage like we're seeing right now. However, as we warm up through the afternoon, we could start seeing those storms become a bit stronger for areas west and southwest of Houston. So that's along I-10 heading towards San Antonio, maybe along I-69 if you're heading towards Corpus Christi or the Rio Grande Valley. I think that we are going to see those conditions once again still remain rather just very rainy. Is that special weather statement in place right now until 11:30 this morning? That does include Bay City, El Campo, and Wharton. That does include a large section of I-69 heading towards Victoria. So if you are planning to leave Houston, going towards Corpus Christi, going through Victoria, it is quite stormy and very rainy and probably hazardous out there in terms of looking at the road conditions and the highway conditions. So we have storms stretching all the way from just south west of Houston to Victoria. So it's going to be a very messy drive if you are heading south into South Texas for this evening. And so we're looking at the possibility for some of these storms to become strong. I know we've had those confirmed tornadoes out in Wharton about a few days ago. Just keep in mind that this area does have the possibility to have some of these storms get a little strong in terms of gusty winds between 50, 60 miles an hour, as well as some possible hail with these storms. Right now, we're not looking at any problematic areas in terms of damaging wind speeds, but we could see that as we progress through the morning. So I'm going to go ahead and look closer at our rotation detector, which is not really seeing much of anything in terms of what we're seeing in terms of the velocity. When I talk about velocity, it's really just showing the direction of the wind speeds that we usually see in a thunderstorm. And we're seeing not much in terms of gusty winds like we were seeing a few hours ago. So definitely keep that in mind, that as we progress through the evening, that we are expecting those gusts to not be as strong as we go into the next few hours. But that doesn't mean that that can't happen. We could get a little bit of a spawning of some storms like we saw yesterday. That was actually in place for northwest Harris County. I know Spring, the Woodlands, Tomball, and around the Cypress area, we had that isolated storm that became strong yesterday evening, and there was some brief rotation with it. So that's kind of the situation that we're seeing today as we go through the afternoon, that we could see some more of those showers and those isolated severe storms, but rain definitely widespread south and west of Houston at the current moment. I know if you're probably heading outside, if you are in Houston, you probably are looking off into the distance and see gray skies. That's the reason why. It's because these storms are outside of town. And like we're seeing right now, look at Sugar Land. We're seeing these storms, this downpours about to head into the city of Sugar Land, southwest of Houston. So definitely expecting some hazardous road conditions. Right now, Houston getting a much needed break from the storms and the rain that we saw earlier today. We had some brief downpours early this morning, but the good news is that we have not received that much rain in terms of causing any flooding concerns around our local streams, rivers, and roadways. But it's not going to take much. We all know Houston's a concrete city, and it's not going to take much to cause some problematic conditions in terms of traveling. But tracking the storms as they're south of town, if you're heading southwest of Houston towards Corpus Christi, very stormy out there just as you pass Sugar Land, lasting all the way to Victoria, even through El Campo and Wharton. So definitely keep that in mind, that you could see some of these storms spawn off into somewhat strong into the next few hours as we progress through the day. And so as we look at future track just one more time, just expecting the possibility for a few downpours, maybe through 12:30. It's looking likely that Houston's going to be spared, but that doesn't mean that this is really going to be the case. We could see most of those showers and storms to the southwest of town move into maybe Katy or west of Houston, but we are expecting that to eventually diminish and calm down as we head into the evening hours, especially as we head into the overnight hours for tonight and lasting through the next morning or so. But another day of rainy conditions for Father's Day as we head into the afternoon hours. But as far as your 7-day forecast, high temps remaining rather warm and humid. Our atmosphere is very moist and very humid out there. So if we do get that sunshine in the warm temperatures into the 90s, we're ultimately going to have those heat index or the feels like temps in the hundreds, as humid as it is out there with all the rain that's been falling in and around the Houston area. So for the next 7 days, rainy conditions. Each rain chance that you do see, just keep in mind that's going to happen in the afternoon hours. Overnight lows in the 70s. Father's Day, a quiet morning, possibly expected, but we are expecting a little bit of a ramping up of that showers and storms as we head into the afternoon hours, and then we're going to remain unsettled as we head into much of next week. It's shaping up to be a very wet June as we head closer towards the end of the month. And of course, we are tracking the latest weather conditions on KHOU.com, and you can get access to all of our extended forecasts on the KHOU 11 app. Of course, have a safe rest of your weekend. We'll be back here with more updates as the weather is definitely persisting to cause showers and storms through the south and the west of Houston through the day. Have a great rest of your day.